This is the before. We talked about our hopes for the day, and we talked about our fears for the day. This is what emerged for us. We had fun.
Here of like taking like the textual and like leading to the visual, so in English at least, or other subjects would apply when you want to use a metaphor to describe the idea there, like drawing the picture that they can understand the text that maybe they're not getting. The person here with the large ear, that it would encourage students to pay attention more and to listen, and as a means, because they're being visually stimulated. It's not just shooting over their heads in a way. It would appeal to the whole brain, so we have the heart there with the equation, so in that sense it would appeal to more than one type of learner. I'm not sure about these two, because that was you guys.
That was with taking it from the abstract and bringing it to the concrete, so yeah, that was the one part. And yeah, so going from then what our old style of learning was, where it's just the words, and now bringing it now into adding the images, adding the visuals to it, and then in a sense engaging, whole brain learning, and taking the visual with the literal and putting it all together and making the big picture.
So even the way we came up with it, like to add to what was being said about like tapping into different group strengths, that we were all busy, we were all doing something, that even if at moments we weren't working together, the end result was a culmination of our ideas as a group and not just one person going out there. At first, I'll admit, I was hesitant to get up and grab a marker. I didn't want to get up. Like I was probably one of the last ones to go and do it. But then when I saw, like, oh, they're not even really putting much thought into how it's being drawn, just do it. So, in that sense, there. The elephant here is we felt that the benefit would be that it would promote like students like memory and remembering the concepts taught in class.
I can't tell you how many aha moments I've had just from listening to you do this and the application in the classroom. Their position as learners, that reluctance to start, that's how they're going to start. And then I'm thinking, maybe in the classroom it might translate into what you've experienced and everyone joining in.
Even if they all looked at me like I was from the moon, you need to show them. You can't just expect them to do it the first time. So you need to model them. You need to show positive encouragement and praise. So praise them for what they're doing and continue to encourage them as they go on. You need to be flexible with it. So we have Gumby kind of being pulled in different directions and show them, that it's not standard. It's low risk, so you can start out with the group as the class, working into groups, pairs, and then on to their own. So you don't need to just start it individual. And that, you can practice it on certain days, so you don't need to do it every single day, but if you practice it and over time it will become easier for yourself and for your class and the students. We were saying in our teacher toolbox of things that we could use to be cost effective, so if you have the different craft paper in the school that you can use with Crayola markers, pencil crayons, pencils. If you don't have anything, just your chalk and chalkboard is the easiest to start off with there. That when you're doing this with your class, if you have set standard symbols, so that's why, add, subtract, multiply, divide, we all know what that means. If you can have standard symbols that you're going to use, so we're saying with English or science, like if we do RX, apostrophe N, they don't originally know that that's reaction when I'm talking about that, but over time you start using your standard short form symbols, and the same, so like a BlackBerry or a cell phone, if they use images, they can pull them from their language, and they're more familiar with this. Even with the tagging or other things in that case, do things for them. So,
in our classroom is like the different stages of learning. So getting our students down to the point where they could be independent thinkers and do this, as we've all very well demonstrated, on an individual basis here. So at the top of our funnel would be words that came to mind were show, model, teachers, example, and demonstrate. So we drew this teacher, like the sage on the stage idea, modeling to the students who are clearly so captivated, ooh and ahhing, by this model. And then we drew the materials, or wrote the materials here, so chalkboard, smartboard, whiteboard, overhead, as being some like archaic dinosaur here, are ways to model and communicate the information to the students. And then from there, the students will have the skill sets to then work in a safe space and work in groups and collaborate and feel empowered by their learning and demonstrating their learning. And then from there, so at that stage they could work in smaller groups just on like a paper chart, give them sample vocabulary that they have to come up with, visuals to represent, so still giving them some parameters that they have to satisfy, not just say draw anything. And then from there, they can go to the individual stage and give them a personal sized paper, and then to make them feel safe again, like the labeling idea, or the labels to cover the mistakes, and that will encourage students to, free spirit. We put the clock here, the idea that we don't know how long this would take, so the teacher would have to be open to dedicating whatever cost it would take to make sure the students were able to put down their ideas, and then the end result of our funnel that would come out would be success and graduation and all that. Okay.
Materials, we just had if they're not comfortable with drawing right off the bat, they can use clip art, they can use Google, they can use magazines, but then obviously we got into chalk and markers, or you can use overheads, and then I kind of pointed it all back to papers. They can cut and paste or draw their ideas on the paper and have it that way, and then that's how they create the rest of the circle.
Something is worthwhile, and we see the value in doing something like this. It allows for tactile learners to apply themselves a bit better. We had a smiley face here, which I thought was kind of creepy, but that's okay. And it's fun, and also the aspect of, and this is what I found anyways with the smartboard as well, grammar, you sometimes get your inhibitions of going up there, your fears of going up there seem to be overcome, and this allows you now to at least express your thought, express what you're trying to say, and you're doing it with an image rather than being concerned about the spelling and the grammar and so forth.
We do know how to spell grammar.
We looked as well at the benefits. It's a slow process initially to sort of plan for it ahead of time, and it's going to take some while, but that pathway eventually will allow things to speed up and will allow us to save time somewhere down the road. Memory with regards to being able to remember a little bit more because of the fact that items are visual. And again, going back to what was said earlier about the kids being excited, wow, now I get it, exciting and so forth. We have an elephant here, and again, the memory, being able to remember, connections that we're able to make, and the relationships that begin to exist. Okay, and how the two items can work together, right? Okay, so how that occurs.
We said we fed off each other.
Yes.
That was
And that was the one thing, right? Well, people were going up there writing, and there wasn't an ownership of one person. Everybody feels that they can then contribute, and you will walk away feeling that you were part of something, and going over. Did I get everything? The Tim's. Taking all of the information and then coming up with one final product, and I think that makes a big difference as well. Okay. One of the things I also is you have to be able to let your guard down as well, and be comfortable with the fact that when I go up there, again, I enjoy just drawing sketches, and some of the kids are laughing. I don't have a problem getting laughed at with regards to that, because they're not making fun of me or what I know. They're making fun at the fact that maybe I can't draw, but letting them know it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's okay. You can go ahead and do that, because especially when you're dealing with, and everybody knows this, when you're dealing with grade 9s that don't know each other that well, and that's one of the things that they're afraid of is, I don't want to go up there and embarrass myself. I don't want to go up there and do whatever. And like I said, in my experiences, with the writing one now, when they're spelling, I'd say, well, look, here's a way that I'll misspell something. They say, well, look, let's see. And they have options, so I can do a spell check right on there. But when you're doing the drawings and stuff like that, it's easy for them to say, you know what, it's okay if it doesn't work out. You can use drawings instead of spelling, instead of grammar, or your sketch doesn't have to look exactly like something. It's the idea and the concept. So again, and we're going to bring it back to the studio and fill up that pathway.
Any comments on what they've done?
That's awesome.
I think this is great.